Rockstar's new Telegram missions are fun, solo player focused content that's completely on demand, and the only work required by you besides doing the actual mission itself is opening up your satchel and initiating one of these Telegram missions. But with that said, some players may have trouble at the higher Ruthless difficulty because of the enemies dealing more damage, having more health, and of course, the forced free aim, which if you're used to auto aim and that's your preferred way of playing, this force setting at the high difficulty could throw you off a bit. So in this video, I'll be discussing my best tips for all of the Telegram missions we have in the game so far, and of course, as we get new ones in the future, I'll be making guides on those as well, but I'll walk you through exactly what I do for each of these missions added into Red Dead Online this week. So if you enjoyed this video at any point, or if you just find it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on this video, and if you want to stay up to date and in the loop with everything Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online, consider hitting that subscribe button with your notifications turned on. So before we jump into each individual mission, I want to give some general tips here before you get started, just so you kind of know where I'm coming from and how I'm approaching these Telegram missions themselves. In terms of ability cards, I use my classic loadout, which is Painted Black, Eye for an Eye, Strange Medicine, and Cold-Blooded. I think Painted Black is like a must Deadeye card for these modes and for these missions because of all the movement that you're going to be doing on a wagon and on horseback, and when you're using free aim, it's kind of tough to aim, and you know, with all these enemies spawning around you, you want to make sure you can paint targets if you're having trouble. So go for Painted Black as your Deadeye card. Eye for an Eye so you can make some Deadeye back so you're not just slugging snake oils the whole time. Strange Medicine to give you health back whenever you do damage, and you'll be doing a lot of damage because of all the enemies that are spawning and also trying to shoot at you. And then Cold-Blooded to get health back for 4 seconds and re-heal whenever you get a kill. Obviously, Strange Medicine and Cold-Blooded go really well together here. Now, these missions aren't timed as well, so take your time to earn money and gold. Remember the rule of 12 minutes for earning 32 gold nuggets. That's always something I recommend on anything, whether it's stranger missions, bounties, legendary bounties, infamous bounties, these Telegram missions, PvP, dynamic events, you name it. Another general tip, your moonshine and trader productions will halt and cease production, and they will resume when the mission's over, just like legendary bounties, so keep that in mind so your grind and your plan doesn't get thrown off sync if that's something you do when you play. Now, honestly, what I recommend is you try one of these missions when you need to run a trader resupply. For pretty much the entirety of the trader's existence, I've always done the resupply missions myself, and I recommend that for everyone who needs XP or who wants to save money or just rank up the trader faster. But now I've started experimenting with buying supplies, and these missions are perfect for it because the money you're getting paid from these missions covers the resupply cost. Plus, when you're done with the mission, trader starts to produce again and you earn gold. So there's really only positives to buying supplies and then using this mission to cover the cost and earn a little bit of extra gold on the side. Because consider this, you'd be spending 5 to 10 minutes anyway running the resupply mission yourself, and sure, you get a little bit of a material buff, but you could just use the naturalist legendary animals to cover, you know, the slack on that one. So might as well gain some gold and use the 5 to 10 minutes to run one of these Telegram missions or run a legendary bounty, for example, breeze through it, get some gold, use the money that you're making to cover the resupply cost, and you're basically just on the up and up from there. So jumping into our first mission I want to talk about here today, One Horse Deal. This is the one where you go to Emerald Ranch and you steal an Arabian and you bring it back to your contact, Josiah. Now, tonics and ability cards are, again, going to be your friend here. Don't be afraid to use tonics. Again, my build is great. Painted Black, Eye for an Eye, Cold-Blooded, and Strange Medicine works great. That's just something I prefer. It's a universal loadout. It applies to everything. You don't need to constantly change ability cards, and I find that works best for my play style. Now, in terms of weapons, a shotgun as well works right here as you're on foot, and as you try and find this Arabian horse, you're going to be maneuvering on foot, so you can maneuver around the enemies easily on foot, and then you can also switch to your preferred repeater or even a rifle once you escape and try and get away with that horse. Now, I recommend you clear out all of the enemies before going after the Arabian, as when you get this Arabian, it will be spooked by you and you'll need to tame it, and you don't want to deal with that while enemies are shooting at you, especially on the Ruthless difficulty because of the insane amount of damage those enemies are dealing. Also, huge thing to note here, the Arabian horse doesn't spawn in the same place every time. It actually spawns in 3 different locations: inside of the big barn, inside of the small barn, closer to the fast travel post, and then also behind one of the buildings by the main Emerald Ranch house. So definitely look out for those locations if you're having trouble finding it. You'll see the big yellow circles on the map and they'll disappear once you've inspected a different area and the horse isn't located there. And then when you get close enough to it, a little like yellow circle with an X will show its actual location, which you can get the horse at. Now, this horse isn't yours, so keep an eye on its stamina being drained while you're running to deliver it. You don't want to get bucked off into a cluster of enemies who are dealing high damage on you as well. That's something you definitely want to avoid. But it is a white Arabian at the end of the day, so as long as you're sprinting to the objective destination, I think you'll be good to go. I doubt you're going to use enough stamina to actually get bucked off if you keep spamming that run button. Now, moving on to the Rich Pickings mission. This is one where you are robbing that mansion in Saint Denis. You don't need to loot every drawer, as most of them are empty here. You just need to get the ones required. Unfortunately, the loot locations do change each time you try this mission. I've seen the gold pocket watch in pretty much the same location every time, but there are the other necklaces and rings and stuff that are in different locations I've found. And if you go in guns blazing, pay close attention to the enemies in the house while you loot. You don't want the police sneaking up on you, and same goes for paying attention to what floor the enemies are on as well. See if they're above you or below you. Once you've loaded up on all your lootables and you've robbed this place clean, once you make your escape, you'll probably encounter around 10 to 15 Saint Denis police officers chasing you on horseback all along that main road out of town, past that lootable house that contains the jewelry every 24 hours, and then across the West Bayou Bridge and up to the hideout shack where Josiah is located. Now, that's about a 2 to 3 minute horse ride with the gunfights, but make sure you have plenty of ammo and health tonics if you have trouble free aiming on horseback. This way you can just use all your ammo and you don't have to worry. And of course, a repeater like the Evans would be pretty recommended here, as it carries a lot of ammo and it's in close range, so you don't have to worry about the Evans' lack of damage at range. Of course, all that ammo you won't need to reload very often. You'll clear out all the enemies with the 26 bullets in that Evans repeater and you will be good to go. Now, speaking about some tips on the last mission, the Outrider mission. This is where you're delivering the wagon with one of the wagon drivers and you need to take over if he dies. I haven't had him die on me yet. I think it's pretty hard. He gets shot at, but I feel like he tanks a lot of shots before he's actually going to go down. We have two different destinations, Blackwater and Armadillo, and I think maybe more. Those are the ones I've gotten so far. I've gotten Blackwater twice and Armadillo once. Armadillo, there seems to be a lot more enemies, and that's why it makes it harder, because there's a lot more enemy roadblocks, and even there's Molotov and dynamite traps. So definitely watch out for those. The gameplay you're seeing is to the Blackwater destination, and there's definitely a lot of enemies on this trail as well. Just keep the driver alive as long as possible. The mission takes longer, so you make more money, gold and XP, if the driver stays alive, because he's only going to go at a certain speed. Plus, if you're passenger, it's just easier to shoot at enemies when you're free aiming on ruthless difficulty, because you don't need to worry about the wagon and like accidentally crashing into something. Especially with those roadblocks, one of the wheels may get stuck on one of the wood barriers, and then that's just going to cause a whole bunch of issues on your mission. So definitely keep an eye out for all of that. But honestly, if you see in this gameplay, I'm just using the Evans repeater. I'm running around with also the double barrel shotgun. I'm just sitting on this wagon, letting the NPC do the driving for me, and it's perfect. He doesn't die. I get a bunch of kills. I have great range with that double barrel, and I'm able to kill everyone successfully. I don't need to tonic up that much, just once at the beginning. We're pretty much good to go here. But those are all the tips I have for these missions. Honestly, folks, if you take into account some good ability cards, you're not afraid to use tonics, you make sure your guns are clean and you're using the right guns for certain situations, you are going to do just fine on these missions. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Without all that being said, we're going to wrap up the video right here. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and if you did, hopefully I earned your like on it. And of course, if you are new to my channel, and if you want to stay up to date with all the best Red Dead Online and Rockstar Games content, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out on a single thing. We consistently talk about updates, news, information, tips, tricks, and even leaks, and we'll keep you guys updated here on the channel daily. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you guys want to follow me over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected with me outside of YouTube. You're more than welcome to ask me any questions on there. You can follow me at Hazardous HDTV, and all of my social media links can be found in the description down below. With that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you all in the next Red Dead Online video. Adios, amigos.